Hey fight fans, welcome to episode 229 of the Fight Library. I'm your host Blaine Henry, and today we are talking UFC 271, Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker 2. Thank you all for tuning in. You guys are great. And I'm excited about this card. Before we get into the card, please drop a sub, drop a review. It's great for the channel. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about the podcast, what you think about the fights, all that good stuff. Blaine Henry TFL on Twitter, which pops up in this lower left-hand corner every now and then. Follow me on Twitter, link up, and say, hey, I followed you on the podcast. You should do more of that or less of this. But yeah, also check out my Patreon, Fight Library. For $5 a month, you actually get a free piece of content every Monday. Or I shouldn't say free, it's not free, but you get a piece of content every Monday, exclusive to Patreon subscribers only. Yes, it's a good deal. And it only gets better the longer you wait, or the longer you're signed up, actually, because you get more content, so it's worth it. It's completely worth it. I've got a cool piece up right now, interview with Rico Verhoeven, which I'm going to play a clip of.
In boxing, how amazing would it be to fight the heavyweight boxing champion? That would be amazing. I remember I've trained with Tyson Fury.
How was that?
So yeah, that was amazing. I think we worked out together for like multiple times a week, like four years in a row. So that was like even before I was champion. So that was like over a decade ago. And then we met, I think it was last year or the year. No, it was the last year. We met each other again, like after a long time of not seeing each other. And I said, how crazy is this? I remember we worked out. We said to each other, he said, I'm going to be the boxing world heavyweight champion. He said, I'm going to be the kickboxing world heavyweight champion. And I said, so many years later, we both did that. And that's just amazing. That's
all right.
amazing.
So if you want to get in on that full interview with Rico, go sign up. $5 a month. It's not expensive at all. $5 US, and it's great. Enough plugging. Let's go ahead and talk about UFC 271. Great night of fights ahead of us, I believe. Main event, Israel Adesanya versus Robert Whittaker. So Izzy was undefeated in MMA. He is undefeated at middleweight. His lone losses to Jan Blachowicz at 205, UFC 259. Comes back. He beats Marvin Vettori at UFC 263. The dude, if you go look down his card, man, he's been a star for the UFC. Since joining, he had the Cormier Lewis card. He was on that card with UFC 230. And then UFC 234, Silva versus Adesanya, which I think was supposed to be Whittaker. Yeah, that was supposed to be Whittaker and Gastelum, and didn't happen. So he headlined that. Then you had Poirier Holloway 2. But then you had, and that was an epic fight with him and Kelvin Gastelum. But then you had Whittaker Adesanya, Adesanya Romero, Adesanya Costa, Blachowicz Adesanya, Adesanya Vettori 2, and then Adesanya Whittaker 2. So he's been the poster child for the UFC for some time. Robert Whittaker's rise has been really cool. He's got the win against Derrick Brunson. Jacare Souza he beat. Two fantastic wins. And then he beat Yoel Romero and won the interim title, I believe that was. And he was later promoted to champion. Because who was it? It was supposed to be him versus Bisping, and Bisping fought Henderson and then retired. Then he lost to GSP and then retired, and GSP retired. Then you have him split decision to Yoel Romero. Very good fights with Yoel Romero, 2 of them, very good. He's been through some wars. And then we got the Israel Adesanya second round knockout. We've got the Darren Till win after he lost his title. And then we got Cannonier and Gastelum. 3 very good performances back to back. He's looked fantastic except for that one knockdown against with Darren Till. Cannonier fight was flawless. So we come into this fight and we have to look at the past, at how Whittaker fought and how he fights now. So when he fought Izzy the first time, he came in and he was, leading with his chin, throwing looping punches and trying to kind of do a Kelvin Gastelum kind of fight. And Izzy just picked him apart. But as we saw with the Till fight, Cannonier, and the Gastelum fight, he does a good job setting up his kicks now. Or he always has. He just didn't do it in the Adesanya fight. So he does a good job setting his kicks up. He does a good job of he's not really a takedown guy. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, he's going to have to take him down to beat Izzy. I don't know. First of all, I don't think he has the ability to do that. I don't think he's strong enough. Everybody points to Jan Blachowicz taking him down as a telltale sign of, oh, that's how he gets beat. But, 20 more pounds on Izzy makes him slower. Yan comes down. He could probably fight at heavyweight. Yan comes down. I'm just saying. That's a big difference from a guy coming down to make 205 and a guy that decided, oh, I'm not fighting at 170 anymore. Strength is going to be a big difference there. So Izzy's not going to really be worried about the strength factor. Really, what I think, Israel Adesanya just needs to come out and dare Robert Whittaker to be different. Bro, you going to leave your head on the center line? Because if so, I'm going to punch it. And punch it he will. Whittaker has to come in and show a great reserve while making Israel Adesanya back up without wasting too much energy and making Izzy waste some energy itself. You'll see often, Izzy, he's real big on head movement and such. So what Rob would really do well on doing is getting him to move his head by whatever means necessary. So he's going to punch, he's going to swing, he's going to feint, hip feint, shoulder feint. Get Izzy, he's going to punch at me, and then wham into the legs. Okay, so when Izzy's moving, the last thing to move, the closest thing to you, is the legs. Plain and simple. So if he goes to the legs in this fight, especially investing in the leg kick early on, he has a really good shot at this. Another shot that Robert Whittaker has in this fight is going to be the bodywork. The only problem with the bodywork I have is, man, that leaves your head open. So you have to really set this bodywork up. Get him thinking head and then boom, boom to the body. Because it's going to be a tough job to get to the body on this guy. Izzy's that good. He knows striking, and people have gone to the body before. So somebody on Twitter, I forget who it is, and I'd put their screenshot here if I knew it. I'd put it there if I knew it, but I don't. Anyways, somebody on Twitter said, everybody says the key to Izzy is the Yan fight, but I think the key, the Yan loss was the specific wording, but I think the key to beating Izzy is the Gastelum win. Gastelum took him into deep waters. Now, is Gastelum that great of a fighter? He's good. He's one of the best in the world. Don't get me wrong. But middleweight's a weak division. There's two that reign supreme at the top, and that's Adesanya and Robert Whittaker. I don't know. You're going to have to drag Izzy into deep waters in round 4 and round 5. You have to, I don't want to say wrestle away because that leads you to believe that I want him to wrestle. I don't want Rob to wrestle. I want him to press against the fence. Yeah, sure. But I'm not looking for a lay and pray like Jan Blachowicz did. But I do want Robert Whittaker to wrestle away around early on, maybe round 2 or round 3, and then really test Izzy's resolve. So we saw with the Vettori fight, Vettori 2, his last fight, that simple forward pressure is not going to do it for Izzy. Especially when he's teeing off on you, working the body, working the head, and just making you work for every inch of ground that you're walking forwards through. And that's what Vettori did in that fight. He used his hands to get forward, and it didn't work. Okay? Whittaker's going to have to punish him. Going to have to make him go backwards and miss. That's going to be a real big key for Whittaker as well. He has to make him miss. Because if he doesn't make him miss, he's just going to get hit. And when you get hit, your other guy doesn't get tired. Not like you do. So, yeah. If I'm picking this fight, I'm going with Israel. Robert just hasn't showed me enough to prove to me that he wants this fight and he wants to win this fight. So I'm going with Izzy on that one. Co-main event is Derrick Lewis versus Tai Tuivasa. And I'm not picking a winner in that. That's a banger of a fight. 2 fan favorite heavyweights. That slug. Of course, we know Derrick Lewis, the awesome post-fight interview guy. Chris Dawkins is his last win, right hooks. Dawkins kind of just crapped the bed on that one. I mean, there's no other way to put it. He started swinging and banging with the swinging and banging king, and he got. So he comes in, he fights a 14-3 Tai Tuivasa, who got cut from the UFC after a loss to Junior Dos Santos, Blagoy Ivanov, and Sergey Spivak. Then he comes back. He's been working hard. He was supposed to fight Dejaris Dano. Who is that? At UFC 250. It was canceled for coronavirus. So he wasn't really cut that long. Not even a full year. I think that was like a short notice bout. Anyway, so he comes back, fights Stefan Struve, knocks him out. Fights Harry Hunsucker, knocks him out. Greg Hardy, everybody cheered insanely when he knocked Greg Hardy out in the first round. Hardy thought, I'm going to bang with you, bro, and he got banged up. Then he beat, in his last fight, Augusto Sakai in the second round. I believe that's his first knockout in the second round. Yeah, that's his first time he's ever had a knockout in MMA in the second round. Wow, it was at 26 seconds, so yeah. And that was in last December on the Oliveira Poirier card. So I look at this fight and I'm like, oh man, Lewis isn't the most active. He waits and kind of counters, and Tai Tuivasa likes to bang. I saw Tai Tuivasa get rocked against Greg Hardy. Like it or not, he did. So that leads me to lean towards Derrick Lewis in a picking sense. But I want a shoey still. So can it be like a draw? Now, with all the Joe Rogan controversy in the news right now, a Derrick Lewis post-fight interview might be what the world needs. I don't know what he's going to say, but it might be what the world needs. So, not picking there. Jared Cannonier versus Derek Brunson's our third fight. Cannonier, slugger, but man, he's just, I don't know how to take Cannonier. He beat Gastelum pretty bad, got destroyed by Whittaker, but he has wins over Hermanson, Anderson Silva, and David Branch before that. He fought at 205. Branch was his first fight down. Fought at 205, lost to Dominic Reyes and Jan Blachowicz and Glover Teixeira. And it's kind of like, oh, that's not so bad. Looking back at it now, champ, and two-time title contender. So we got that, and then you got Derek Brunson, who's been on a massive resurgence. So the record says, right? Elias Theodoro was a whack win. That was just a horrible fight. Ian Heinisch, he dethroned a up-and-comer. Edmund Shabazian dethroned an up-and-comer. And Kevin Holland dethroned an up-and-comer. The dude, he wrestled well. And then, of course, the Darren Till win, which was a rear naked choke. I thought Darren was fighting well in that fight until, it's just he couldn't stop the takedown. So the question is, how strong is Derek Brunson? Because Jared Cannonier used to fight at heavyweight. He has a loss to Sean Jordan at heavyweight at UFC 182. So key to that fight is, can Brunson keep his chin safe? Because he has been chinny in the past. We saw his knockout against Izzy. But he also got knocked out by Jacare. Anderson Silva beat him up. And he also got knocked out by Robert Whittaker. Yo Romero knocked him out, but that was back in 2014. I won't count that one. Oh, he fought Jacare in Strikeforce. That's right. And that was another knockout. Brunson's chin is not the best. I'm just going to let you guys know now. I fully expect Cannonier to go out there and beat the daylights out of Brunson, honestly. It's just what's going to happen. He's good, like Brunson's good, but this whole blonde Brunson's been feasting on up-and-comers who aren't quite ready for the top of the division yet. I mean, it's Shabazian, Holland, and Ian Heinisch. 3 great fighters, and 3 that'll probably be at the top of the division one day, but not right now. So yeah. Moving down the card, Kyler Phillips, Marcelo Rojo, decent fight. Nasrat Haqparast versus Bobby Green. Bobby Green's back again. This dude's been on fire fighting lately. Had a grappling match, lost to a knee bar, beat up Al Iaquinta. I'm talking about knockout in the first round, which is saying something because Iaquinta doesn't get knocked out. He had that fantastic performance against Rafael Fiziev, where he'd kind of like come on late and was jabbing his face off. So the lanky Bobby Green and Nasrat Haqparast is pretty small. I lean Bobby Green there just by that, but then he might have a Bobby Green performance and lose. Jarrett Vandera versus Andrei Arlovsky. That's a fun fight. I think that's an Arlovsky win right there, though. He kind of feasts on these young guys now. Roxanne Modafferi's back, and she's supposedly retiring against Casey O'Neill. O'Neill's good, but she has a lot of ground and pound and stuff, and I honestly, you look at Modafferi, and she's really good on the ground comparative to, Anyways, I ain't going to get into that. Tapala has 92% people picking O'Neill and 8% picking Modafferi. So, yeah. I don't know. That might be a good one to go with because, Casey O'Neill's 8-0 and Roxanne is 25-19. Experience will play a big factor in that. Alex Perez is back, finally, the flyweight guy. After his loss to Figueiredo, he was scheduled to fight Brandon Moreno in November, that is? Yeah, November. Then Matt Schnell, then Askar Askarov, then Matt Schnell, and finally, Matt Schnell again. So maybe the fourth time's a charm here for that. Matt Schnell, 15-6, but he lost to Bontorin, has a split decision win over Nam. The overhand right loss. So I honestly, I think this is a fight Perez would be all over him. It's kind of close on the odds, but I feel like this is a pretty good win for Alex Perez. William Knight, the Hoss, is back against Maxim Grishin. It's weird. He got 2 bouts booked, a grappling match and a MMA match. That's interesting. He's been doing some grappling. Goodness. Can you imagine having to grapple this guy? Like, he's just strong. He's going to just be strong on you. His last fight against Minifield was a decision, so he showed he can go to the decision, although that was a bit sloppy of a fight. Then that obvious beautiful counter left hook against Fabio Clement. If you haven't watched that, go watch that. This dude just got power. I lean him via decision. You got Ronnie Lawrence versus Mana Martinez. Never heard of him. Alexander Hernandez and Hanato Moicano deep on the prelims. Is Hernandez gas tank better? That's what we're about to find out because Moicano will either do that and take him down. He comes out like a bull in a china shop, but he just can't keep it up. So we'll see how that turns out. Since the Cerrone loss, though, he really hasn't been the same. Moicano at 55 hasn't found the same magic since moving up. He had the Aldo loss and then the Chan Sung Jung loss. And then he comes up, beats Damir Hasdovic, loses to Fiziev, which that's not that bad of a fight. That Hasdovic, I forgot about that. That was the one where he got him. He was mad that the dude lost so quickly. It was a 44-second. And then he beat Jai Herbert. And then, a grappling win against Chase Hooper at Fury Pro Grappling 3. All right, I see Moicano taking this one. We'll see what my picks are like after the card. Carlos Uhlenberg is 3-1. Never heard of that guy. What in the world? He's a heavyweight, though. And they need that. And he lost to Kennedy Nzechukwu. Dude's a kickboxer. Okay, kind of makes sense, but Jacob Malkoon versus AJ Dobson. AJ Dobson, who is that? I remember him from somewhere. Oh, he's from the Contender Series. That's why I remember him from. Decent fighter. Not enough for me to actually care about and talk about in depth too much. Douglas Silva de Andrade versus Sergey Morozov. Decent fight. Jeremiah Wells versus Mike Mathitha. 9-2-1 versus 3. So there's a lot of 3-0 guys on this weird low experience card. Fun night of fights ahead of us. If you're looking at the top 3, that kind of falls off there. And you got Bobby Green back. Then you got Arlovsky that's going to style on somebody. Alex Perez is back. So it's William Knight. Okay, I'm excited. It's a good night of fights. It is going to be a decent little night. I'm looking forward to it. Anyways, guys, thank you all for tuning in, listening, watching. Drop a comment. Tell me what you thought. Blaine Henry TFL everywhere. Fight Library everywhere else. You'll figure it out. So, yeah, we've got this post-fight coming up. Tune into that Sunday. It's going to be a live YouTube show. You can catch it YouTube, Twitch, and I tried to do it on Twitter too. So we got that, and we'll be talking the aftermath of this. So I hope you all enjoy it. Patreon, if you want to support the podcast, be a friend, be a boy, whatever you want to call it. I would love to just chat with you guys. So yeah, that's going to be it for today. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. And if you did, catch you next time. Later.